championships, to modernize championships. Hell, even they do MMA championships. They have great deals on championship belts. And I know what you're thinking. What if you can't afford them right now? No problem. They have a great layaway program, as well as if you go through PayPal credit, you can get your championship belts right away. A&J's Belts, the proud sponsors of the Squared Circle Podcast.
Hey there, friends and listeners of the Squared Circle Podcast. Are you looking for some new threads, maybe some new hats, or any other form of apparel? Do yourself a favor and head over to ProWrestlingCrate.com. Are you familiar with Loot Crate, those wonderful little boxes where you can get all sorts of nerdy goodies? Think the same thing, but infinitely better, because wrestling. All kinds of shirts, little toys, you name it. All available at ProWrestlingCrate.com. Exclusive friends of the Squared Circle Podcast.
Hey, what's going on, guys? It's Spencer Hart from the Elite Ringside Network. Wanted to let you know about some amazing news. You can now listen to all of our great programming on the new Satchel podcast player for your Android and iPhones. Here's the deal. While you're listening to us on Satchel, you can send us a few dollars to make all of our amazing shows even better. So if you're listening to us right now on Satchel, go ahead and click on that donate button to send us some much appreciated donations. And if you're not listening to us on Satchel, I mean, come on, what are you doing? Download the podcast player right now at satchelplayer.com. Exclusive friends of the Elite Ringside Network. Welcome back to SmackTalk here on the Elite Ringside Network on Spreaker.com, iTunes, Player.fm, PodDirectory.com, Stitcher.com, TuneIn Radio, IWNerd.com, WrestleWorld.uk, the Satchel Player for your Android and iPhones, and CastBox.fm. So, Max, you and I were talking during the break. We're going to move right into it here. We've got new champions, the SmackDown Tag Team Champions, the Usos. And you and I were talking during the break. Don't get me wrong, I like the Usos. I'm not entirely a big fan of them as this rap gangster heel team, but at the same time, I enjoyed what the Usos were and what they are now. And it's weird because why would you change titles 2 weeks before WrestleMania?
Yeah, I mean, I'll freely admit, I was never a big fan of the Usos when they were doing their initial face run. I didn't like most of their matches because I kind of felt it was the same thing over and over. They kind of really didn't have much of a character, and other than their admittedly awesome entrance, I wasn't sold. I don't want to be that person that says, oh, they got so much better when they turned heel. No, it's not that. I mean, they did, but it was a great character reset. It freshened them up, and it made them interesting. It made me like them, which also made it possible for me to like hating them. And maybe it's just the fact that over the last year and a half, I've really started, kind of listening to a lot of, rap music. And I don't know, maybe it's just the two things mixing. I kind of dig the vibe they're throwing off, and I think it works. That being said, I was not prepared for them to take the belts anytime soon, and 2 weeks before WrestleMania, why would you do that? I am lost.
Why would
I am
you do
confused.
that?
But during the break, good sir, you made it sound like you had a thought process on that. Would you care to enlighten us? Would you like to share with the class?
Is it too much of a mark in me if the rumors are true?
Oh, God.
I think you know where I'm going with this.
Let's hear it.
They just left TNA. They're just making a little bit
knew it.
They're making a little bit of a title run in Ring of Honor right now. But a lot of people are reporting that WWE are really trying to bring back the Hardy Boys. And for what I've heard, they may go rights to SmackDown.
Do you really think that they're going to just have them swoop in at Mania and take the belt?
Come on. A tag team open challenge. Anybody can come and take the belts or challenge for the belts. We're the greatest tag team in the history of the universe. The Usos I'm talking about anyway. They say they come out, we're the greatest tag team in the universe. Any team can challenge us. And at WrestleMania, the Hardy Boys show up. Come on.
First off, if they're the best tag team in the universe, doesn't that mean they should be the WWE Universal Tag Team Champions? Hey-oh! Anyway.
I'm pretending that didn't happen.
I just don't see that shit happen. You can pretend it didn't happen, but we all heard it. But
maybe that is a little bit of a mark in me, but I don't know.
I'm sorry, man. I don't want to. I don't mean to take it down, but I kind of feel like that's. Don't get me wrong. Don't get me wrong. Would I mark out and be very happy if this situation transpired? You bet your fucking ass I'd be thrilled. Oh my god! Especially if they were, Broken and Nero, and I would just be like, ah! And if the crowd would be like, oh my god! And the Hardys would be like, Nero! And it would be just fucking. I would die.
Delete.
Oh, God, the fucking chant wouldn't stop throughout the whole night, and it would get louder during the Undertaker-Roman Reigns match. But, I'd love it, but I just don't see it happening. I'm sorry, I don't. I mean, don't get me... Again, if the rumors turn out to be true, these words will taste so good when I eat them. But I just don't see it happening, man.
Let a man dream, because why else would you pull the belts off of the American Alpha this close to WrestleMania?
Because SmackDown is a part of WWE, which means they probably have to, be holden to their contractual, duties, which means having a prerequisite amount of shit on the card.
Fair. That's fair.
AKA WWE Creative. I mean, maybe there's a plan. I don't know. I can't think of anything. Again, I don't foresee the Hardys coming in, but it's SmackDown. I want to give them the benefit of the doubt. Hell, you know what? It's WrestleMania. I'll even give Raw the benefit of the doubt at least half the time because it's WrestleMania, and I know that means a lot to the WWE and to Vince. So I believe there's probably something in mind here. And I'd love it to be the Hardys, but I don't see that, and I don't really know what the hell the plan could be anyway.
Yeah, they must have something in mind, otherwise, why? So, alright, I want to move into the final piece of the night, the ever-growing saga of AJ Styles and Shane McMahon. I don't know how to take this because AJ came to the ring apologizing and Shane just kicked the crap out of him. It's just... It seems pretty forced to me.
I mean, look. Back in the day, it took a lot. And I'm talking when Shane first started regularly appearing as himself, as well, the TV version of himself, on Raw and such, back in the mid to late 90s. Back then, it took a lot to get the crowd to believe in him when he stepped into the ring. And that's because he was the untrained, untested son of the boss. But now, they've got to try to sell us on him as I hate to say it, someone who's at least middle-aged, who we've seen can't exactly throw together the best match. I mean, for God's sake, those fucking rabbit punches of his. And they have him beating the shit out of the guy that is considered to be the best professional wrestler on the planet, who is in incredible physical shape, the prime of his life, brimming with talent, and based solely on the way he moves and what the little bit I know of martial arts, the dude that probably knows legitimately outside of wrestling how to fight. And I now have to accept that Shane fucking tennis shoes McMahon can beat the piss out of him. And also, why was AJ Styles apologizing? What? is this supposed to be like, oh, AJ's going to turn face so Shane can turn heel so we can have a heel McMahon on 2 shows because we want both shows to have cancer? I don't know what the fuck is happening with this.
Cancer.
Ladies, gentlemen, and others, please don't chant cancer at WWE shows. Please. They have that whole month where everything turns pink. No, really, don't chant cancer.
Really, don't do it.
I will bring out the sad. I will bring out the sad if you chant cancer. I can't believe I have to have this discussion. What are your thoughts on this? Not on cancer.
Not on cancer. I don't know. It's like I said. It feels forced to me. Chanting cancer. Oh my god. It feels forced to me. At the same time, I love Shane. His moves are a bit iffy. At the same time, the dude cuts a good promo, and he takes a fucking bump. That's what I love about Shane McMahon. He can throw all the rabbit punches he can. He can do his little twisty dance all he fucking wants. The man can sell a fucking bump, and that's kind of what it's about. I don't know. I dear hope to God they don't give Shane the win.
Oh. Well, I mean, we all know that there's ways around that. Like, they could have someone interfere in his path. He could turn heel and cheat. There's ways that could happen and have it work out. The only problem is intelligent booking. Hell, fuck that. Fuck intelligent booking. Satisfying to the audience booking would require something like that to come towards the tail end of a match that had enough build-up to it to warrant it. That would mean that AJ Styles and Shane McMahon, modern-day 2017 Shane McMahon, would have to have like a 5 to 10 minute full match beforehand. So we're still stuck there. Other than that, if they have him go over as a face, I mean, trust me, at this point, AJ Styles can't be fucking buried. Seriously. At this point, John Cena could truck him in 30 seconds and he'd still be fine. He'd just lose a bit of his shine. But god damn, that crowd will. I don't think the crowd won't riot, but they'll piss all over it if you have Shane go as a face.
Right. Yeah.
I mean, you want the boos if AJ wins, but
I don't know. It's going to be interesting to see, especially next week, that what kind of, I mean, if they're going to have just a singles match, what kind of match they're going to have. But yeah, I don't know. It just it seems like this.
I have a thought.
Okay.
This is something that I think could be interesting, and I don't think it's something that WWE would necessarily even consider, but it's just a thought experiment. Keep going ahead with the match as planned. In the next 2 episodes, in the coming episodes of SmackDown that happened before WrestleMania and going into WrestleMania, you make AJ Styles seem, you know, he almost took the beating that Shane gave him like an act of contrition. Like, he's basically just, he genuinely, like, okay, maybe I have crossed a line here, but he's still being a condescending asshole about it. Don't do anything there. He beats Shane at WrestleMania, but he does it not only clean, but in the process kind of learns a lesson and turns into an honorable babyface. Then you've got an AJ Styles that's not only got the full repertoire of all of his moves, all the stuff that he might have been holding in reserve because he's a heel because they don't want to pop the crowd too much, but now they can let him do that, and the crowd can cheer him, and he can just sort of more or less be himself. And you get them, well, around this whole him versus Shane situation.
I like that. Yeah, I think AJ does need to go back to babyface. Yeah, it's been a little less than a year since he turned heel on John Cena on Memorial Day last year. But at the same time, he's not working as a heel very well. The crowd loves him regardless. And that's kind of killing the point of being a heel. You want the crowd to hate you. You want to be the bad